morning, all of you. As in our previous lecture, we talked about Lewis and Cossel approach to the chemical bonding. In that, we studied Lewis dot structures. We know that Lewis dot structures is the representation of the valence electrons of the atom by putting number of dots around the symbol of that atom. Clear? So based on that, now Lewis structures of any atom, ion or molecule, how it is useful, what is its importance and what are the drawbacks. So that is our today's topic. The first one we talk about is the significance of Lewis dot structure. How are they important? So here I have written it helps in understanding the formation and properties of molecules. Clear? When any molecule is formed, then the type of bond which is formed in that molecule. So with the help of Lewis structure, we can, or on the basis of the bonding present in that molecule, we can draw Lewis dot structure for that molecule. So it helps in understanding the formation and properties of the molecules. When we will take all these examples, I will explain you this point, that how it helps in understanding the formation of bonds. Clear? Okay. Drawback is it does not explain bonding and behavior of molecule. On the basis of the bonding present in the given molecule or the ion, we can draw the Lewis structure. We can have the picture of Lewis dot structure. But on the basis of Lewis structure, we cannot predict, we cannot explain the type of bonding present in that molecule. Clear? And also the behavior of the molecule. Second drawback is it does not represent the actual shape of the molecule. Clear? So which type of bond or how the bond has been formed, means by sharing of electron or whatever it is. So on the basis of that, we can draw the Lewis structure for a given atom or the molecule or the ion. Clear? But on that presentation, that picture of Lewis dot structure of any atom or molecule, it will not give us the exact idea about the actual shape of that molecule. So that is the drawback of Lewis structure. So you have to remember the advantage as well as the limitations or the drawbacks. But I can say that when we talk about the covalent bond or the coordinate covalent bond, then it is always important for us to know the Lewis dot structure. Clear? How the sharing of electron has been taken place, that we can explain well by using electron dot structure. Now for that we will take certain examples. First example is of ozone. This is very important and very interesting example. Ozone means it is O3 molecule. 3 oxygen atoms are bonded together. Now here ozone is made up of identical atoms. Clear? So when the bond or the chemical bond is formed between identical atoms, then none of those atoms will be ready to lose or gain electron. And that is why they will always go for sharing of electron. So in ozone molecule, how sharing of electron, how covalent bond has been formed. So that we are going to study. Now this is the structure of ozone molecule. It is a triangular structure. Clear? Now in this you can see 3 oxygen atoms are there. On one oxygen atom, I have put 2 electron pairs. On the central oxygen atom, 1 electron pair and positive charge. And this oxygen atom, 3 electron pairs and negative charge. Now what does it mean? It means that when the sharing of electron takes place between 3 oxygen atoms, then suppose I label the central oxygen atom as 1. Then this one, my left hand side oxygen is number 2 and right hand side is 3. Clear? Now the first oxygen atom is like the head of a family. Head of a family has a tendency to sacrifice. Clear? So here the first oxygen atom, it will sacrifice, or we can say that when the bond formation takes place with remaining two oxygen atoms, then the head of the family or the first oxygen atom will utilize its more number of electrons. How? Now in oxygen we know that its atomic number is 8 and configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. This 2p4 means it is 2px2, 2py1 and 2pz1. Clear? So these are the valence electrons of each oxygen atom. There are total 6 valence electrons, out of which 2 are present in a 2s orbital as an electron pair. Other 2 are present in 2px orbital as another electron pair, and remaining 2 are present in 2py and 2pz orbital as unpaired electrons. Clear? Now, when the sharing takes place, then the first oxygen atom, here you can see these 2 blue dots which I have drawn here, they are the unpaired electrons of oxygen number 1 present in 2py and 2pz orbital. Similarly, this second oxygen atom is also having its unpaired electrons present in 2py and 2pz. So number 1 and 2, they will share their, very wisely they will share their unpaired electrons with each other, and the 2 electron pairs are formed between number 1 and 2, and that is how double bond is formed. So covalent double bond is formed between first and second oxygen atom. While doing so, second oxygen atom keeps its 2 electron pairs, one in 2s and the other in 2px. These 2 electron pairs of second oxygen atom will remain unutilized, means it will remain as the lone pairs of electron on that oxygen atom. Clear? It will remain as a non-bonding electron pair on that oxygen atom. Clear? Now, here the first oxygen atom is also expected to have 2 lone pairs of electrons, one in 2s and the other in 2px. But here I have drawn only one electron pair. So this electron pair is of 2s orbital, which will remain as a lone pair of electron or non-bonding electron pair. It will not be utilized by first oxygen atom in any bond formation. So it will remain like this only. Clear? Now what about the other electron pair which is present in 2px orbital? So the first oxygen atom, as I labeled it as the head of the family, it will give its whole electron pair to the third oxygen atom. Third oxygen atom is like a child in the family. Clear? So everyone in the family who is elder to that child will try to give everything to that child. Clear? So here the head of the family also decides that I am having 2 extra electron pairs, lone pairs of electron. So out of that, if I give my whole electron pair to the third oxygen atom, that is to the child, clear, then nothing is going to harm me. And that is why the first oxygen atom shares its whole electron pair of 2px orbital with the third oxygen atom. So between first and the third oxygen atom, there is one electron pair shared, but that electron pair is shared by first oxygen only. There is no contribution of third oxygen atom in it. Clear? And that is why coordinate covalent bond is formed between first and the third oxygen atom. Clear? I told you in the previous lecture that whenever coordinate covalent bond is formed between two atoms, then the shared electron pair is always donated by a single atom. There is no contribution of electron by the second atom. Clear? And the coordinate covalent bond is always shown by arrow. The point of the arrow is always towards the acceptor and the tail of the arrow is towards the donor. Is it clear? So here in textbook, this coordinate covalent bond is not shown by arrow. Clear? It is just a dash. But it is, you have to understand that when you go for Lewis structure, see here I have written, it helps in understanding the formation. Clear? So when you go for the Lewis structure, when you examine the Lewis structure of ozone which is given in the textbook, then you will be able to know that one electron pair, lone pair of electron of the first oxygen atom which is present in 2px orbital, it is shared between first and the third oxygen atom. So first oxygen atom is having only one lone pair of electron left on it. Clear? As per the rule, in covalent bond formation, all participating atoms must contribute equal number of electrons. But here, when the covalent bond is formed between first and the third oxygen atom, then only there is contribution of first oxygen atom. So it has to, as per the rule, it has to contribute only one electron. But it is contributing 2 electrons, means one extra electron it is contributing, and that is why it acquires positive charge. Clear? Because it is a donor. So it is a donor of 1 electron extra. So it acquires positive charge. Now what about the third electron? Third electron, it's one lone pair of electron in 2s orbital is as it is. Its another lone pair of electron in 2px orbital is also as it is, and the two unpaired electron, you can see I have kept some distance between these two electrons in order to just show you that these are unpaired electrons. Clear? In book you may not get such distance, but it is understood that 2py and 2pz unpaired electron of the third oxygen atom remains as it is, means third oxygen is not utilizing any of its valence electron in a covalent bond formation. On the contrary, it is gaining one more electron, one extra electron from the first oxygen atom, and that is why this third oxygen atom acquires negative charge. Clear? You can interchange the structures, means this coordinate covalent bond you can show between first and second oxygen atom, and the covalent double bond between the first and the third oxygen atom also. It means that the position of the double bond can be between first and third, it can be between first and second. Clear? And that is why for ozone molecule we can also draw the structure like this. This dotted line represents the position of double bond. It can be between these two oxygen atoms, it can be between these two oxygen atoms also. Clear? So here we will not go for that point because we are going to study in detail again after means in this chapter only under the heading of resonance. Clear? So that time we will discuss it in detail. But here my point is, second number oxygen has contributed the perfect number of electrons in bond formation. 2 unpaired electron it is having, and both the unpaired electron it has shared in the bond formation. First oxygen atom has shared 1 extra electron in the bond formation, and third oxygen atom has not utilized any of its valence electron. So this is how the sharing of electron is there in ozone molecule. So here I have written, it helps in understanding the formation and the properties of the molecule. So here this is the formation of the molecule. But if we want to explain that how this distribution of electron has taken place, then with the help of Lewis structure we can easily explain it. Clear? So this is very important structure of ozone. Second is about NF3, nitrogen trifluoride. Now nitrogen is having atomic number 7, configuration is helium 2s2 2p3. So nitrogen is having 3 unpaired electrons. 2p3 means it is 2px1, 2py1, 2pz1. Clear? And there is one electron pair present in 2s. So when nitrogen, the structure, see in the molecule of NF3, you can see covalent single bond is formed between nitrogen and all the 3 fluorine atoms, and there is electron pair present on nitrogen. There are electron pairs present on fluorine also. Clear? But here nitrogen is a central atom, so we have focused more on it. So this is the electron pair of nitrogen which is present in 2s orbital. Clear? Fluorine is having atomic number 9, so its configuration will be 2s2 2p5. Clear? So that 2p5 means it will be 2px2, 2py2 and 2pz1. So every fluorine atom is having one unpaired valence electron which is present in 2pz orbital. Clear? So nitrogen is having only one lone pair of electron which is present in 2s orbital. But fluorine atoms, they are having 3 lone pairs of electron which are present in 2s, 2px and 2py. The electron of 2pz, it has distributed or it has shared with nitrogen atom. So blue dots are the valence unpaired electrons of nitrogen and red dots are the valence unpaired electrons of 3 fluorine atoms. So here you can see between nitrogen and each fluorine atom only one electron pair is shared, and that is why covalent single bond is formed. Clear? Non-bonding electron pairs of nitrogen and fluorine remains as it is. Clear? I told you that in any bond formation it is first the unpaired valence electron which will take part. So here in case of fluorine and nitrogen, only unpaired valence electrons have taken part in the bond formation. Their electron pairs, valence electron pairs are remained as it is, means they are the lone pairs or the non-bonding electron pairs. But in case of ozone, it is not like that. Clear? Second number oxygen, it has utilized both the unpaired electrons as per the rule. First oxygen has utilized 2 unpaired electrons as well as 1 electron pair, and third oxygen atom has not utilized any of the electron, whether it is unpaired or paired. Clear? So electron sharing is different in ozone molecule, but it is perfect in NF3. Then comes HNO3, nitric acid. In nitric acid, the structure in the book is shown like this. Here though there is no arrow. Clear? But actually it is there because oxygen is marked with a negative sign. It means like in ozone, the oxygen which is not utilizing any of its valence electron. So here in nitric acid also, out of 3 oxygen atoms, this oxygen atom number 1 is utilizing the perfect number of valence electrons. Means 2 unpaired electrons it is sharing with 2 unpaired electrons of nitrogen. Nitrogen is having 3 unpaired electrons. So out of 3, 2 unpaired electron it shares with this first oxygen atom which is also sharing its 2 unpaired electrons. And these 2 electron pairs of oxygen 1 remains as lone pairs of electron. Clear? Here suppose this oxygen which is bonded to hydrogen also is labeled as a 2. So this oxygen has also shared the perfect number of valence electrons. Means 1 unpaired electron it has shared with nitrogen. Nitrogen has a 3 unpaired electron. 2 it has shared already with the first oxygen in order to form covalent double bond, and with second oxygen atom it has formed covalent single bond. Means here nitrogen and oxygen both are sharing their unpaired valence electron. Clear? And the second unpaired electron of oxygen is shared with the unpaired electron of hydrogen. So between oxygen 2 and hydrogen there is a covalent single bond formation. But if we see this third oxygen atom, it has not utilized any of its electron pair. Suppose this is 2s electron, this is 2px electron. Clear? This is unpaired electron of 2py, this is unpaired electron of 2pz. So the third oxygen atom has not utilized any of its electron pair, but instead nitrogen, which is having extra electron pair, the lone pair of electron, it has donated to this third oxygen atom. And that is why nitrogen, though it has to share only one electron as per the rule for the bond formation, but it has utilized, or it has shared, or it has donated the whole electron pair. Means it has donated one extra electron to oxygen, and that is why there is positive charge on nitrogen and negative charge on oxygen atom. Is it clear? So in the nitric acid, you can see there are three oxygen atoms. All of them are covalently bonded to nitrogen atom, but the type of covalent bond formed by all of them is different. With first oxygen atom, the nitrogen has formed covalent double bond. With second oxygen atom, it has formed covalent single bond, and with the third oxygen atom, it has formed coordinate covalent bond. Clear? So this is again very important. Clear? Then the last example, it is of carbonate ion. Carbonate ion, see, a Lewis dot structure is not only for atom or the molecule. It can also be drawn for ions. Clear? Now in polyatomic ions, the charge which we write is the charge possessed by the ion as a whole and not by individual atom. Clear? In carbonate ion, there is one carbon and 3 oxygen atoms, means total there are 4 atoms. But when we write carbonate ion, then the -2 charge is written as a whole. Clear? It is not for any individual atom. Clear? But when we go for the Lewis dot structure, then picture becomes more clear. How this sharing of electron has taken place and where these 2 extra electrons have gone. To which atom out of 4 atoms present in carbonate ion, to which atom this 2 extra electron, -2 charge means gain of 2 electrons. Clear? So these 2 electrons which are gained by carbonate ion, so which atom out of the 4 atoms present in carbonate ions have gained these electrons. So this can be more clear. Now in carbonate ion, in the textbook, this type of structure is shown, in which carbon has formed single bond, covalent single bond between with these 2 oxygen atoms. Suppose this is first oxygen, this is second, and this is third. So with the second and third oxygen atom, carbon has formed covalent single bond. Clear? But with the first oxygen atom, it has formed covalent double bond. Now let us see the sharing. Carbon is having 4 unpaired electrons, 1 in 2s orbital and remaining 3 are into px, 2py and 2pz. So total 4 unpaired electrons are there with carbon. Out of 4 unpaired electron, 2 it will share with the first oxygen atom. Now first oxygen is having 2 unpaired electrons. Here you can see 2 unpaired electrons which are present in 2py and 2pz. So 2 unpaired electrons of oxygen are shared with 2 unpaired electrons of carbon. So there are 2 electron pairs formed between carbon and the first oxygen. So covalent double bond is formed. Now here on this first oxygen atom, 2 electron pairs of 2s orbital and 2px will remain as it is, as a lone pair of electron. Clear? So they remain as it is. Now what about the second oxygen? Here I have shown 6 dots. Clear? Now this oxygen, second oxygen, is also having 2 unpaired electrons. One it will share with carbon, the third unpaired electron of carbon, and it will form covalent single bond with this carbon. Clear? And one unpaired electron which is still there with oxygen in a 2py orbital, it is this dot. This is the electron pair of 2s, this is of 2px, and this is the unpaired electron present in 2py. 2pz electron it has shared with carbon. Similarly, this oxygen atom also, it also did the same thing. Clear? But here you can see the red dots. These are the 2 extra electrons which are gained. So these 2 extra electrons are with both oxygen atoms, number 2 and number 3. They don't go with this oxygen number 1, because it has formed double bond with the carbon. Clear? Here also, like ozone, we can change the position of the bonds. Double bond you can show here and these 2 oxygen atoms single, or double bond here and these 2 oxygen atoms single. But remember that one thing, that whichever oxygen atoms you show by single bond, on that oxygen only you have to put the extra electron, not on the oxygen with double bond. Clear? So this is the structure of carbonate ion. It is about formal charge. As here I told you that for polyatomic ion, the charge present on the ion is the charge possessed by the ion as a whole. Clear? And it is not by particular atom. Clear? But it is always possible, it is always feasible to assign formal charge to every atom present in the polyatomic molecule. Let us again take the example of ozone. Formal charge means what? Formal charge is the difference between the number of electrons present in the valence shell of the atom in its isolated or free state, and the number of electrons which are shown by Lewis dot structure around that atom. Where I repeat, formal charge is defined as the difference between the total number of valence electrons present in the free or isolated atom. Clear? And the number of electrons which are shown in a bonding by Lewis dot structure. Clear? So in bonding means it is a lone pair of electron as well as the shared electrons. All are included in that. Clear? And valence electrons means the total number of valence electrons present in the outermost orbit. Now mathematically, formal charge Fc can be calculated by total number of valence electrons in free atom. For example, if we take oxygen, so oxygen's valence orbit is this, second orbit, in which total there are 6 electrons. So 6 is the number of valence electrons present in oxygen. Clear? If we take nitrogen, then nitrogen has 5 valence electrons. Clear? So like that. Fluorine, so fluorine has 7 valence electrons. Got it? So formal charge is equal to the total number of valence electrons in the free atom minus total non-bonding electrons. For example, if we take HNO3, in HNO3 nitrogen is not having any non-bonding electron pair. All electrons it has utilized, all valence electrons are utilized. But if we see oxygen, then oxygen is having, first oxygen is having 2 lone pairs of electron, second oxygen is also having 2 lone pairs of electron, means total 4 non-bonding electrons are possessed by first and the second oxygen atom, and the third oxygen atom is having total 6 non-bonding or the lone electron pairs of the non-bonding electrons. Clear? Minus half of the total bonding electrons. Bonding electrons, whatever bonding electrons are there, we have to take half of that. Clear? For example, in NF3, bonding electrons are total 6. So half of that means 3. Clear? Similarly, in this HNO3, if we focus on nitrogen, then bonding electrons are total 6. Clear? So divided by 2. If you consider oxygen, then bonding electrons are 4, 2 of its own and 2 of nitrogen. So total 4 bonding electrons. Clear? So bonding electron, clear, uska half lena hai. Got it? So formal charge means total number of valence electrons minus total non-bonding electrons minus half of the total bonding electrons. Now let us understand this with the example of ozone. This is the structure of ozone. Clear? I have labeled oxygen atoms as 1, 2 and 3. Suppose I want to calculate the formal charge of the first oxygen atom. I have written O1. Clear? So first oxygen's formal charge is equal to total number of valence electrons. Oxygen is having total 6 valence electrons. Clear? So it is 6 minus total non-bonding electrons. First oxygen is having 2 non-bonding electrons. We are not talking about electron pair. We are talking about electrons. Clear? So 2 electrons are there which are non-bonding minus half of total bonding electrons. Now this oxygen has formed 3 bonds. Here 1, 2 and 3 bonds. In each bond 2 electrons are there. So 3 2s are 6. Means total 6 bonding electrons are there with the first oxygen atom. So half of that. So 6 minus 2 minus 3. So it is plus 1. And that is why first oxygen is assigned plus 1 charge. So plus 1 is its formal charge. Clear? It is a temporary charge. If the atoms from the molecule are separated, then this charge will not be there. Clear? So it is just the formal charge, formal charge. So here our first oxygen is assigned plus 1 charge. It is based on this formula. Second oxygen means this. Number of valence electron will remain same in all the 3 oxygen atoms. It is 6. Now total non-bonding electron. Second oxygen is having total 4 electrons which are non-bonding, which have not participated in bond formation. So it is 6 minus 4 minus half of total bonding electron. Now the second oxygen has formed 2 bonds. Clear? 2 electrons in each means 2 2s are 4. So total 4 electrons it has gain in or it is having in its bonding form. Clear? So total 4 electrons are there. So 6 minus 4 minus 2. Clear? So it is 0. And that is why here you can see on the second oxygen atom there is no charge. So it is 0 charge. Then O3, third oxygen. Number of valence electron is 6. Number of non-bonding electron is also 6. It has not utilized any of its electron. So it is also 6. And bonding electron are only 2 because there is only one bond between first and third. Clear? And in this bond there are 2 electrons. So 2 bonding electrons are there. So 6 minus 6 means 0 minus 1. So it is minus 1 charge. So in this structure third oxygen is assigned minus 1 charge. Clear? This is how we can calculate formal charge. Got it? Now in textbook only this example is given, but I will tell you that you also calculate formal charge of each atom for NF3 and HNO3. This is your homework. Clear? Formal charge for each atom present in this molecule NF3 and HNO3 using the same formula. Got it? Okay. Now what is the significance of this formal charge? It helps in selecting the lowest energy structure. Lowest energy structure means which is the most stable structure. Lowest energy means maximum stability. Clear? Here ozone is having 2 possible structures. One is this way, other is the other way around. We can change the position of bonds. Clear? So 2 possible structures are there. So whenever the molecule or the ion is having more than one possible structures, then formal charge helps us in selecting the lowest energy structure. Now which one is the lowest energy structure? It is that structure in which smallest formal charge is present on each atom. Here in ozone you can see first oxygen atom is having plus 1 charge, second is having 0, third is having minus 1. So this is the smallest possible charge present on each atom. So this is lowest energy structure. If you change the position of double bond, then also you will get the same values. Clear? It will interchange, but only these values plus 1, 0 and minus 1 you will get. So Formal charge helps in selecting the lowest energy structure whenever the molecule is having more than one possible structures. Clear? And which one is considered as the lowest energy structure? It is that structure in which smallest formal charge is present on each atom. Clear? So today we will keep only up to here. In the next lecture we will go for the limitations or the drawbacks of octet rule. Clear? Till then, goodbye. Have a nice day.